So we'll kind of go back over that so you know what to look for tomorrow. All right, review the play calls from today, and we'll get started here. All right. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for September 11th, 2019. SPY up 0.59% there. Q's up 0.83. We got about 20 minutes left. You know, one thing that I think I should have addressed yesterday was the strength in the IWM. I did talk about it in one-on-one coaching yesterday about how bullish this remained, and that didn't really want to come in as the market was trying to do come back in to retest support, and the IWM didn't want to come in at all. So coming into today, we were neutral to bullish on the shorter time, and then all out bullish on the larger time frames here, right? Ever since we broke out of that range, the larger time frames have looked good higher. All right, and this really confirmed for us that this double bottom held, and then we got follow through. We got a lot of buying there right into the close. I probably didn't give it as much attention as we should have, but then we got, as soon as we opened up this morning, right, we saw the bullishness was for real. You know, usually on something like this, if you're going to end this way and this isn't going to get follow through, you'll usually open up right around inside this bar. So usually if this is just kind of short covering at the close, you won't see this kind of follow through, and this did get follow through right at the open. So that was our first indication that we had a bullish day here. So, you know, we had been waiting kind of on the daily to pick a direction, picked a direction, came back in. We identified this area as support, bounced off the support, and is now back up. So going into tomorrow, that makes us bearish. Really nothing else to be but bearish. We have had a bit of a run, so we'll see if we get some kind of hourly pullback, okay? We kind of moved away from the hourly because the hourly got so sloppy while it was in this congestion here. All right, now that we're starting to trend again, I think we can use the hourly now back as our kind of reference point here. We can see the double bottom that formed here that did get follow through. So while I wasn't maybe all out bullish about buying this, anticipating this bottom or buying it at the lows, right? Because we did put in that breakout no follow through initially, right? So I was looking for us to come back to support, which we did on the Qs, not so much on the SPY. Okay, now we can start to watch the hourly as our chance, if you're not in, to be bullish on a hourly buy setup. Okay, so retracements in the Qs and SPY are buyable. Okay. All right, so let's continue what we've seen here working in the last couple of weeks. Really, really working. I'm not just talking about, you know, moving up, you know, a few percentage points here. Nothing like this, the Qs and SPY. But things that are transitioning out of the downtrend on the daily and then, right, starting to take off. So this was one which I liked. Not enough, was not called official. I didn't play it either. Really wished I had. Over 540 there. Stop was just 532. Very tight stop. Went 3 Rs at least, I think, on that run up. And so you can see here on the daily, right? We've been in this downtrend for most of the year, right? And then finally turning itself around here, basing down here until the 20 MA starts to curl up underneath. Now this isn't a very nice setup, you know, but when this is the setup that's working, you'll see a lot of them start to go. YUMA, another one, prolonged downtrend here, and then starting to put in a higher low, right, and then turn back around. I think this is supposed to be TTOO, is what I meant to put in this box here. Okay, prolonged downtrend, all right, and then once it starts to put in a higher low, you get the 20 MA coming up underneath, and these are taking off. I think the breakout that we saw, if you didn't catch it right at the open, I think the breakout that we saw, yeah, it wasn't easy over this right here. I think it was 232 by 215 or 216, something like that, about an 18-cent stop, and did get some decent follow through on the TTOO. I think this is a pretty tough base to buy, but it did give a pretty good follow through there, rally right up into the highs there. All right. And then what we just finished up just now here, I was kind of taking a peek at it to see kind of where it's going to close, because we did just get trailed out of it, is the AIMT. We played this as more or less 15-minute base, okay, as it broke out right here. So this is more my standard play, really. You got to gap up over multiple pivots here, trying to break the downtrend. It doesn't have that same look of exhaustion that you have on like the GLUU. It's not really beaten up to the point where they really extended away from the 20 MA, right? And really, down and cut by a huge percentage. The AIMT, a little bit more sideways, wasn't a downtrend, but a lot more sideways. This is really my standard play, but just looking at kind of the follow through on the AIMT versus the follow through on the, which is fine, it's not bad, versus the follow through on GLUU, the YUMA, tells you that really, this isn't really what I should be focusing on. I'm glad it worked. It wasn't a huge winner because really these are the things that are taking off. And it's kind of was surprising to me today that these are the things that I ended up playing, even though I guess we've been talking about it for the last couple weeks here. Because when I look at what my focus was in the morning, I really liked this PLAY gap. Let me fix this chart here. Go ahead and zoom in here. Right, I wanted to see this follow through lower, right, and instead got bought. That support never broke. I wanted to see that support break, ended up holding there, pretty bullish. So this was actually my favorite. If we could get this to break, I liked the farm as well. Farm was also a gap down that I thought was pretty powerful. Wanted to see this also get some follow through, but got bought right at the open. Couldn't establish a trend of any kind. So I was really looking for relative weakness today to see what things were really going to stand apart from the market, and there really wasn't a lot. It was very, very bullish today in the market, bullish across the board. All the time frames are now pretty well aligned. We never were given any kind of reason to be bearish ever since we broke out of the range on the Qs and SPY there. So it was just a matter of kind of when we were going to resume the bullishness. We did talk about what might have to happen in order for us to be bearish, and even then we'd have to get back into this range, which we didn't really come anywhere close. So it's been a bit, I think, of an adjustment to kind of focus on some new things here, and even some of these I think trying to be more aggressive with. So but if that's what's working and that's what's making the money, that's what we got to go after. Okay, so we'll continue to monitor them, continue to find entries and nice plays in them. If you did the AIMT with me, the last few days, it's not that these plays aren't working, like my standard pro gap and breakout. They just aren't, turning into home runs. And so when you look at something like the YUMA and how much it moved up and how much kind of there is potential in something like this, you really makes you want to take notice. So that's something that we definitely want to focus on. Okay, and we didn't really see, there was one other on the intraday here, which I think is worth taking a look at here. So the ZS, I think we're looking at as a short initially, but it was down a lot, and then it was something that was like right after it started going. I said to the room that, guys, we missed this one. We just talked about how we need to be kind of adjusting because these transition A's on the intraday are working really well. And what we want to be seeing on these is that the weekly, right, is looking like it's exhausted, or maybe it's coming into support, or both, right? In the case of the ZS, we got both. So you can see down, down, down. These are the kind of ones that you want to be looking for some kind of exhaustion, more potential here for a transition A to get bought. And so very nice follow through there. If we talk about what we're looking for, right, is that it puts in a higher low here, right, 20 MA starts to curl up underneath, and then can be played higher. So as soon as this kind of just started, I said, I think we missed it. And sure enough, that was one that kind of we had to watch from the sidelines. So Yeah, so we'll continue to focus on these and keep our eyes peeled because these have been working really, really well. Okay. All right. Hope you did well today. Hope you're having a nice week. All right. Going into tomorrow, all out bullish. So that means sell-offs are buyable, barring any kind of big gap or anything. But if we get anything kind of out of the ordinary tomorrow, we will adjust, and I'll go over it in tomorrow's market wrap. Okay. But otherwise, going into tomorrow, bullish. Expect dips and sell-offs to be buyable. All right, that's going to do it for today's market wrap. Hope you had a nice day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.